Welcome to Sci-Fi Express Lane. I'm your host, Jeff Carroll, your host. I'm the person, Jeff Carroll. I'm the writer, sci-fi writer, filmmaker, independent comic book creator, all that good stuff. And today's topic is why I love movie theaters, right? Why I love the big screen. And first order of business, like, what the heck happened to my focus? Get in focus. Snap, it's bugging, yo. All right, cool. All right, so first order of business, like, subscribe, share, and comment. All right, due to, I guess, streaming platforms and the quarantine, movie theaters have taken a hit. First time really in their history did movie theaters have this close globally since they've been open, right? And because of that, movie filmmakers like myself had to change their way of getting money, recouping, releasing, all of that. It's now back to normal, but it changed everything. And because it changed everything, different revenue streams became empowered, and that was streaming. Now, we've always had Netflix, and we've always had streaming, streaming platforms and streaming. We never have always, but I mean, since the early 2000s, right? We've had streaming. I think my movie came out, Gold Digger Killer, on 2004, and it was streaming on Netflix, right? And and I couldn't even watch it because I didn't have Netflix at the time. No, it came out 2004. Came out 2007, and that summer it came out. It streamed on Netflix, and I couldn't even watch it on Netflix because I didn't have Netflix. Few people saw it because not too many people had Netflix, right? And now Netflix is so dominant that people who are deciding whether they should go to the theaters and see a movie or not. In September 2022, we had a theatrically produced movie, a movie that was produced for the theaters that went to streaming, and that was Prey. And it was a movie franchise that was made for theaters. Decided, no, we're just gonna go streaming. And so that has changed the game, in a sense. Let me tell you how it works, why the game changed. Movie theaters make the most money for movies, okay? It used to be the way you saw movies, and you couldn't see the movie for sometimes years, right? But now movies go to DVD, then they go to TV, and then somewhere streaming fit in that. It was a chain, right? The best movies came out in theaters. Now it's debatable. It's still the best movies. You're not going to catch Avatar or one of the Marvel movies in streaming first. You're going to catch it because right now streaming cannot generate as much money as theaters do. But because many times the paid for platform has to pay that money, and see, you never know what a movie's going to do. So like in the theaters, when they hit the theaters, it may catch fire, you know what I'm saying? And people be like, oh shoot. So that's like rolling your dice. You put all the marketing out and it gets good ratings, and now more people want to see it. It's still in the theaters weeks and weeks longer than what it was expected. It's really hard to predict all of that. Really hard. I mean, I wonder if people gamble on that. So, but when it comes to streaming, you got to pay that money, and that's kind of all you're going to get as a film producer. So the platform takes the risk. Now, there's other platforms like Tubi, the way YouTube used to be. Those platforms allow you to get paid per view, you know. However, unlike pay-per-view, you're not paying to view it. The person who put the movie up, you're receiving a payment for it. And the movie has commercials, and the movie has other things, you know, ads, right? So that takes away from the movie enjoyment. So movies are not made to necessarily have commercial breaks unless they are made for TV movies. And many times they're not either, because, you know, a lot of filmmakers or a lot of platforms, they do television shows, you know, hour-long shows, and those still don't really, you know, breaks are really not natural. You know what I'm saying? Nobody says, all right, let me finish telling you the story. Hold on a second. Let me just tell you about the screwdriver first, and I'll go back to tell you about the story. Nobody does that. That's how television has made its money, and it's beautiful. But we've gone, you know, we've gotten used to it. Doesn't mean it's still natural, right? Now, if you love theaters, the theater is being impacted because people are saying, you know what, the movie's going to come out 2 weeks. Sometimes they're doing simultaneous theatrical releases. I'm thinking Wonder Woman got hit with that. I think Miss Marvel, one of the big movies got hit with it, you know, coming out right after the movie, coming out streaming right after the movie theater. Now, both movie theaters and streaming get hit with piracy. My movie got bootleg, right? Somebody came in the theater and they taped the movie. That still happens, and that's where streaming gets it from. Some of them. Then there's the what do you call it? The sharing people. They'll tape it off their TV, and then they'll put it on a free platform. And then there's people that try to steal the stream. I think that's very rare, but I don't know, because I don't, you know, do any of that, so I can't tell you. But there's a piracy out there. When people used to tape it in the theaters, they used to put it up on streaming platforms. Then they also used to print them, like my movie. Somebody said they bought my movie on the streets in Miami. I'm like, kidding me. And it wasn't even out in Miami. It was only out in New Jersey, New York. So somebody from New York brought it down to Miami. Unbelievable. They saw Gold Digger Killer for sale. That's amazingly disrespectful. But now you don't have to worry about it many times, because your movie isn't even a DVD, and, you know, people don't really watch DVDs. But they could have taken a streaming DVD, a stolen video DVD and movie, and then burned it onto a DVD. And that's how sometimes you would be watching a DVD and somebody's talking in it, and you see heads, because somebody's sitting in the back of the theater with a camera, and they're recording it. And they catch people that do that, but the simple fact that they still got to hire people to look in the audience is wild. The fact that they still got to hire people to stand in the front of the theater and look back at people is wild. So anyway, that's the attack on theaters. Ah, my God. Amazing. I went through all of that. But to me, movie theaters are more valuable than just a way for the producers to make their money back. To me, as a consumer, I enjoy watching movies in the theaters more than I do at home. Wait a minute, did I just say that? As a consumer, I like watching movies in the theater more than I do at home. Now, mind you, I'm from an overpopulated section of America, New York. I was born in the Bronx. I say that because that impacted my movie watching. I used to go to watch movies on 42nd Street, and other theaters of the like. There were not only theaters on 42nd Street, but there was theaters in Brooklyn, there was theaters in the Bronx, there was theaters in Manhattan, other parts of Manhattan, where the audience was live, where the audience was fire. Even in New Jersey, we went to New York so much. Northern Jersey, we started treating our movie theaters, certain screenings when we would all get up in the theater in Hackensack or whatever, and we watched the movie, we would start talking like we was on 42nd Street. Why is that impactful? To me, that audience is a factor. It's like a soundtrack to a comedy. Now, I'm talking about the people arguing. I'm not talking about the people calling their mother or somebody on the phone while you're watching the movie. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about healthy theater audience interaction, where the audience is laughing, where the audience is, yeah, get that, kill him, she's right there, run, oh my God, and laughter, gasps. All of that is important. I remember watching TV and they added soundtracks taped in front of a live audience. That was part of it. But if you're in an audience watching it, it's live for you. TV didn't have that luxury. It was sort of like a streaming thing. But oh my God. Now, are we going to see movies with laugh tracks? If everything goes streaming, we may see that. I think what we'll see is movie theaters that are like Regal is filing for bankruptcy. If these theaters start to close, right? My favorite movie theater in Miami, Cobb, that closed during the quarantine. If these theaters start to close down, people will start to rent theaters to show movies. Just letting you know. And it's going to be a lot more than the movie theater ticket price, because they're going to have to pay to rent the movie. They may not get all their money back from concessions. Promoters are greedy, so they don't always have competition. So with promoters, they're going to try to do their most. And I remember when I went to see a movie in Tokyo, and it's name dropping, but it's for real. Some of my most memorable movie experiences were maybe not even in the country, right? And because they weren't in the country, they were really different. But I saw V for Vendetta in Roppongi, Japan, and in Tokyo, Roppongi section of Tokyo, right? And it was different. The movie is still one of my favorite movies, and I started liking it in that theater. But what I liked about it, what was different about it, was the movie theater had curtains. And I hadn't seen curtains in a while. And as the projection was starting, they opened up the curtains, and it was like, ta-da, holy moly. And it just made it feel grand. The theater that we were in was not, my wife and I, the theater that we were in was not a regular boring speakers on the wall, sound curtains on the wall. This was a theater that they did theatrical acrobatics, live performances, and it just had a different feel. Another time that I went to a movie theater was in Ghana. I played my movie in an outdoor theater in Ghana, and it was different than a drive-in theater because you were sitting in seats, and it was concessions behind you, but the theater had no covering, and it was a screen. It was like watching it on a rooftop, like watching it in the backyard. Miami has a bunch of those open air theaters, especially since COVID. So it was different. When you go through a drive-in, you can only hear the people laughing that's in your car. And I do believe there's something memorable to that, but I haven't really gone to many drive-ins. Drive-ins are actually not necessarily my thing, but I get it. People don't have to dress up. They can kiss, they can talk, have sex shit in the car, right? But no, I'm a big theater person. I like the audience reaction. I got videos on it. So to me, that's the most valuable thing of a movie theater. is the audience interaction. And we're going to miss that. I do not get that at home. I mean, I've seen even YouTube and Facebook watch parties. It's not the same thing. As much as I like a watch party, it's not the same thing. So I think, first of all, I hope theaters don't go away. But if they do, I will probably be one of the people paying $25, $40, damn it, to go experience an audience reaction to a movie. If it has to open with a comedian, if it has to do some talks afterwards, I have no idea. But yes, we're going to start seeing these type of events where they rent out theaters. And will they be able to sustain the theaters? I doubt it. Theaters are showing multiplex level movies, but there is the art house theaters that may be able to get these things off the ground. And they may never go anywhere because they don't depend on blockbuster movies or even first run. So, second run theaters probably may be what it is, because these are movie theaters that already operate with movies that people can see on streaming platforms. So I don't know, but that's what I think. All right, y'all. Peace.